Two men tied together long before they laced their first boots. Their connection was born in quiet moments far from arenas, addiction shadowing one, grief burying the other. One walked away to chase a version of greatness the world doubted he'd ever reach. The other stayed behind, trying to rebuild the legacy he had almost burned to the ground. One grew up surrounded by royalty and nearly collapsed under its weight. The other carried generational hurt behind a face paint while his father's memory drifted between reality and myth. One became the anchor of the industry, wrestling through pain that would have ended a lesser man's career. The other walked out of the biggest company in the world, refusing to die as a punchline. One taught the other how to endure. The other showed him what reinvention could feel like. Their story is soaked in everything that gives this industry its soul: mentorship, loyalty, sacrifice, brotherhood that bends under time, distance, and ego. Audiences watch their lives unfold in real time, never realizing they were witnessing two arcs slowly moving toward an unfinished chapter. Every piece is already there: years of footage, decades of tension, a chemistry you can feel in the pauses between their words. This story could change the industry, but WWE will never touch it. 2 decades of history, 2 men shaped by burden, brilliance, and the ghosts trailing behind them. This is the story of Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. This is the greatest story that will never be told. A young man stands in the dark of a gas station at midnight, stacking shelves under buzzing fluorescent lights. His future feels like a locked door. His past feels like a prison that still clings to his clothes. The year is 2002, but the moment feels older than time. Randy Orton is 22, fresh out of military jail, sleeping in his parents' basement, wondering if the family legacy he once resented is now the only path left. Years earlier, he ran from the Marines on Valentine's Day, sitting alone on a bus home, convinced that dying for his country wasn't courage but a lie he couldn't live. Court-martial, 44 days behind bars, released to nothing. Fate pushed him back toward wrestling because he had shut every other door for himself. Meanwhile, on a different timeline, a newborn lies in the arms of the American dream. The world sees Dusty Rhodes as a legend, a messiah of the common man, a king built from grit instead of gold. But Cody watches that greatness age into humiliation as his father is dressed in polka dots, stripped of the one thing he ever truly wanted, a championship that should have been his but never came. The same man who once held entire arenas in the palm of his hand now finds himself discarded by the empire he helped build, scraping to provide for his family, filming local car commercials just to keep the car he is advertising.
Hard times became more than just a promo. My dad doing local car commercials, and not for the money, just so that he could keep the car.
Pride bruised, heart unbroken, spirit barely clinging. Cody grows up silently carrying that wound, training at 12, already planning to finish a story that didn't start with him, but the one only he can finish. Jump forward. Randy Orton stands in a WWE ring in 2004 and raises the championship at the age of 24, the youngest in history, chosen for greatness, anointed as the legend killer. Then the belt disappears from his waist. His arrogance consumes him. His talent keeps him afloat for now, but his immaturity is about to swallow him whole once again. In 2007, Cody Rhodes walks into WWE as Dusty's son. Facing a man who carries the burden of legacy like his own, Orton destroys him within seconds. The year becomes 2008. Randy is 29 and lost. Evolution is gone. The world expects him to lead, but he never learned how, so he builds legacy. He chooses 2 sons of wrestling royalty, Ted DiBiase Jr. and Cody Rhodes. He sees something in Cody that Cody can't see in himself, a man carrying a last name that is both crown and cage. Every cheer reminding him he hasn't earned the respect his father carried without trying. He is wrestling with ghosts older than his own career. Randy pushes him harder than anyone, calling out mistakes mid-match, demanding excellence with a ruthlessness that feels cruel until Cody realizes what it truly is. Someone who knows the burden of inheritance teaching someone else how to survive it. They travel together, learn together, break together. Legacy ends in betrayal at WrestleMania, but something remains. Not trust, not friendship, something deeper. 2 lives tied by pressure and expectation. Time passes. The year becomes 2013. The hotel room is quiet. Randy Orton lies unconscious. Pills, exhaustion, painkillers. The body that once seemed indestructible finally collapses. His girlfriend Samantha finds him. Ambulance, sirens. The moment that almost ends the story. Instead, it becomes the moment that saves him. Rehab, therapy, rage control, a daughter born into his arms. Alana. Randy chooses to live. He chooses to be different. Outside the ring, he becomes stable and protective. Inside the ring, he becomes colder, sharper. The Viper fully realized, but no longer hollow. On another branch of the same timeline, Cody is drowning inside a face paint. His father passes away. The world expects WWE to let him honor Dusty, but they keep him floating as stardust. Grief becomes humiliation. The Rhodes legacy is reduced to glitter, cartwheels, 20-second losses. Then he finally asks for his release in 2016. They take it personally. Cody walks out anyway. He leaves behind the dream that was chosen for him and becomes a nightmare instead. Indies, Japan, Ring of Honor, every match a brick in a new identity. Every promo a plea for the world to see who he really is.
What happens when the undesirable becomes the undeniable?
By 2018, he helps launch AEW, rebelling against the machine his father once fed, building a kingdom where Dusty's son is something more than a forgotten act. Meanwhile, Randy becomes the constant in WWE through pandemics, through empty arenas, through broken shoulders and a spine fraying with every bump. His consistency becomes the heartbeat of a company struggling through chaos. Time fractures again. Cody stands in AEW while fans turn on him. The cheers rot into boos. They throw his weight belt back. They call him out of touch. His character becomes a myth he can no longer control. By 2022, the company he helped create no longer feels like home. He leaves in silence. No fanfare, no farewell, no future. Randy watches from a distance. Proud, heartbroken, protective. He knows what it means to walk away when the world is watching, and then Cody returns to WWE. The crowd erupts. The nightmare has come home, carrying the ghost of a dream his father never got to finish. As Cody rises, Randy's body breaks again. 18 months on the shelf, surgery, pain, depression. But he returns, stronger, wiser, ready to give the business whatever remains in his bones. Two men on opposite sides of Exile finally stand on the same timeline again. One rebuilt his life after almost losing it. One rebuilt his identity after the world reduced it to face paint. Both carry wounds that never healed. Both carry names that defined their paths. Both learned the cost of inheritance the hard way. And now, after decades of distance, their stories bend toward each other again, not as mentor and student, not as rivals, as two men shaped by scars the world never saw. The exile is over. The inheritance remains. But the reckoning, it has only begun. But before we go deeper, hit like and subscribe to the channel. It keeps the story alive. August 2024, Los Angeles. A tour bus hums quietly in the heat outside the arena. Inside, red, white, and blue lights wash over a table, lined with Wheatley vodka bottles. Cody sits across from a man he once feared, admired, and tried to outrun. Randy Orton steps aboard for the first time. Cameras roll. They do not know they are about to capture something heavier than an interview. They talk legacy. They talk 2008, a faction held together by youth, insecurity, and a 29-year-old Randy who didn't know if he could lead anyone, let alone two strangers chasing the ghosts of their fathers. Cody stops him.
There is a limited number of people I can say like 100% nothing would have happened without this person. You're 100% nothing would have happened for me without you. You took this chance on me.
Randy tries to brush it aside. He talks about pride, about watching Cody leave WWE when Randy never could, about the butterflies he felt when Cody held the championship in the air at WrestleMania 40, finishing a story the world thought he would never complete. Then something rare happens. Randy opens up in a way he never has on camera. He talks about the 18 months lost to injury, the depression that crawled into the silence, the fear that even his family could not fill the void wrestling once did. The business completed him in a way nothing else could. "I'm a pro wrestler," he says. "I don't know that I'll ever walk away." Cody asks him what is left. Randy does not mention titles, or records, or validation. He talks about time.
I think do this for as long as I can. We brought up my wife, Kim. She goes, when it's time to hang him up, I'll let you know. If this is when I need to hang him up, I don't want to go here. I don't want to retire and have a last match and then leave the company and have another last match.
Then Cody asks the question that changes the air in the room. Who would you want to wrestle if you could pick? Randy does not blink. You. If I had to give an answer right now, it's you. 5 years from now, maybe something changes. Something tells me it won't. The episode ends with a toast. Two men rediscovering a bond the industry tried to bury. Nothing has happened. The greatest story inside WWE remains untouched, documented, emotional, real, ignored. To understand the weight of this missed opportunity, you have to go back, not to their debut, not to legacy, but to the pressure that carved them, the pain that shaped them, the darkness each man had to survive before they ever stood side by side. A man stands in the middle of the ring, the arena bathed in expectation. He waits for a name to appear on the screen. WrestleMania 38, a knight sharpened to a blade. The crowd buzzes with the kind of anticipation that feels like thunder searching for ground. Then the lights crack. A voice rolls across the stadium. Wrestling has more than one royal family. Kingdom tears through the speakers. Not a theme, a statement. A song written out of spite and grief. A song built on the ashes of the Rhodes family being broken in the same company Cody now walks back into. 6 years gone. 6 years wandering the world. Reforging himself match by match. Scar by scar. And now he steps through WWE's gate as the American Nightmare. Not the gold-painted ghost he left behind. The match with Seth stretches into 21 minutes of memory and reinvention. Every slam echoing a different era of Cody's exile. Every counter nodding to the man he became far from WWE's walls. When his hand rises in victory, the arena erupts like a dam breaking. Vindication doesn't arrive quietly. It arrives like this. Time folds. The screen turns to hell in a cell. Cody Rhodes walks into the arena with a chest painted in bruises that swallow his entire right side. A torn pectoral muscle hangs off the bone. Surgery already scheduled. Pain radiating like fire under his skin. And yet he steps inside the cage. No shirt, no armor, nothing to hide behind. The match becomes a test of will in its purest form. Cody drags his broken body through 20 minutes of violence. And somehow, impossibly, he wins. When he collapses after the bell, the crowd stands in stunned disbelief. Pain becomes myth. Determination becomes scripture. Randy Orton watches. He sees himself, the recklessness, the devotion, the willingness to give everything to the ring even when the ring gives nothing back. And something shifts in him. Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's recognition. Maybe it's a ghost reminding him there is still unfinished business between them. But WWE ignores the moment. But the story writes another chapter by itself. WWE turns the page without reading it. Time breaks again. Summer 2023 arrives. Randy Orton disappears. The back that carried the company through eras finally snaps under the weight. Spinal fusion surgery. 18 months under the shadow of uncertainty. He plays Elden Ring for hundreds of hours. His wife buys half of Amazon trying to fill the silence, but nothing works. The roar is missing, and wrestlers cannot live without the chaos. While Randy fades into recovery, Cody rises. Royal Rumble 2023, Cody wins. WrestleMania 39 arrives, and he stands in front of Roman Reigns with the weight of Dusty's unfinished dream on his shoulders. And he loses. Another year begins. Then the countdown hits Survivor Series 2023. Voices in my head plays. Randy walks down the aisle again. 18 months gone, but the body still moves like a serpent reborn. The arena breaks open. The Viper has returned. Two parallel paths cross again. Cody at his peak. Randy finally healed. Right place, right time. WWE looks away. Time fractures into 2024. WrestleMania 40, Cody versus Roman. A battlefield soaked with history. 35 minutes of survival. Bloodline interference from every corner. Seth limping to the ring to swing at ghosts. Undertaker appearing like a reckoning. Cena clearing bodies like a final oath. Then the moment. Crossroads. Another. 3 seconds that reshape the industry. Cody holds the championship. Dusty never did. Tears fall. The crowd roars. The ring becomes a cathedral. Two stories intersect. Only one is visible to the world. But somewhere inside that victory, his own journey feels complete. The timeline jumps. King of the Ring 2024. Cody and Randy enter the same tournament. The bracket bends until both names meet in the finals. The crowd feels the history trembling beneath the match. Mentor and protege, legacy and nightmare. Two men forged in parallel fires. They wrestle clean, 12 minutes of precision. A glimpse of what the story could be. Cody wins, and WWE walks away from it. No aftermath, no evolution, nothing. Silence becomes the loudest response. Now the year is 2025. Randy Orton works every night with the steadiness of a man who knows time is becoming his enemy. Cody Rhodes stands on every poster, the champion who carries the weight of history on his shoulders. Two men, same brand, same roster, same building, same destiny circling them like gravity waiting to strike. WWE does nothing. The cameras keep rolling. The crowds keep screaming. The business keeps moving, but the story waits, motionless, breathing, invisible. The greatest story modern WWE has at its fingertips sits in silence. 2 lives, 2 families, 2 legacies intertwined by fate, and the company refuses to pull the trigger. Maybe they think the book is finished. They're wrong. The book is still open, because the story already exists. It lives in that moment on the bus when Randy said the quiet part softly. It lives in hell in a cell, Cody's chest painted in bruises, Randy watching him and seeing his own past reflected back. It lives in Randy's return after 18 months in the dark, Cody seeing him walk through the curtain and feeling a weight lift off his shoulders. It lives in their silence, in the unspoken understanding that they shaped each other long before cameras cared.
There are 2 guys that are responsible for me sitting here now. It's Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio. So I love Randy Orton, man, for sure.
It lives in the King of the Ring match that lasted 12 minutes but carried decades. In the truth Cody carries every night he steps through the curtain. It lives in every lesson Randy ever gave him. It lives in every risk Cody ever took because of those lessons. It lives in the roads they walked alone, only to end up here, together again. 2 brothers who saved each other without knowing it. Mentor and student, legend killer and American nightmare. Orton's steel, Rhodes' heart. The story is complete. The story is waiting. The story is alive. WWE only has to speak it. They won't. And that is why it stands as the greatest story that will never be told. If you enjoyed the video, hit like and subscribe to the channel and answer this. Is this the greatest untold story in wrestling history? Click on the screen to see where the journey goes next.